Wait, you got a job?
No, just sucking dick on 6th Street.
Hey, that's still a boss. That's still a job.
True.
Yeah, they pay you.
What's the going rate for sucking dick these days?
Not nearly enough. Got to suck about 20 a night to make half my rent.
In one night, though, that's not bad.
Oh, suck 20 dicks in a night and tell me it's not that bad. Anyway, welcome to the Iconoblast podcast. This is the show that takes a look behind the public facades of famous icons to show you why you can never take anything at face value. We don't have a wide shot on this one, right?
Nope, all closes.
All right. Yeah, my name's Cooper, and across from me today is actually Adam Hester from the Skeleton Factory podcast.
Hello. Good to be here.
Once again. And, of course, we always have Joel Benner.
I'm over here.
Iconoblast. We put the past on blast. Hit 'em with the truth, with things you never knew. Nobody is safe, no thing to place. Got Joel and Coop with history in your face. Iconoblast.
So anyway, yeah, sucking dick on 6th Street.
Yeah.
Not as entertaining as it sounds.
Hey, last time we were on 6th
It's not
Street,
that bad.
we had a good time.
Oh, it's fun if you're not down there working.
Yeah.
If you're down there working,
We went
it's-
to Vulcan Gas Company. We had some laughs.
Oh, we saw what's it called Kill Tony.
We watched an episode of Kill Tony.
That was fun.
What was that bar we went to afterwards?
Oh, after we went to, fuck.
We had some
Oh,
burgers.
Casino El Camino.
That
Yeah.
place is fucking great.
That place had amazing hamburgers.
Like I
For
will
a
go
shithole
there
6th
any
Street
fucking
bar?
day of the week.
It's not bad.
It was pretty sweet.
It's like the only place I like on 636.
Yeah, and
honest.
it's crazy close to my house. It's like not even a 5-minute drive.
It's perfect. Those burgers are dope.
The burgers are fucking
Oh,
good.
they were so fucking
Made
good.
by two crusty ass punk rocker guys.
Yeah,
as,
always.
as burgers should be.
They're-
Those dirty fingernails.
Any day of the week, there's a different member of that same band, and it's actually a band of like 6 punk rockers.
Yeah.
I have their contact info. I follow one of them on Instagram, and they've invited me to their practice space. But it was because my girlfriend saw it, and they invited her to it, and I was sitting there.
You were invited by
didn't-
proxy.
Yeah, so we didn't go.
Were they respectful because they thought you
Super
were her
respectful.
dad?
We got free. Yeah, we got free fucking French
They call you
fries and
sir?
stuff. They called me sir. They said, "You don't have to come if you don't want."
Yeah, they're,
Oh,
I love it when people say you don't have to come if you don't want to. 'Cause
Yeah,
that puts a lot.
it's
If somebody tells me you have to come, it puts a lot of pressure on me.
Yeah.
So you know something else that you can find down on 6th Street is a bunch of dirty fucking whores, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Is a dirty fucking whore.
Oh wow.
No, it's not that bad. We are going to be talking about Marilyn Monroe today, and arguably,
Are you calling her a dirty whore?
no, she's a very troubled person. There's a lot of these episodes when. So I'll have an initial idea for an episode. I'm like, oh, I want to dig into this person because of this, because they're a piece of shit. And then the more you learn about them, it's like, all right, pretty much everybody is a victim of their circumstances. So it's kind of hard to just be like, oh, no, you're a total piece of shit. It's like most people turn out the way that they are against their will. There's not very many people that actually choose to be a horrible piece of shit. Outside of like Dan Bilzerian, Che Guevara, John Lennon, people like that.
Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather, they choose to be a piece of shit. Most other people just kind of fall into it. And that's kind of what happened with Marilyn Monroe, from what I can tell, is she fell into a lot of dicks, a lot of famous dicks, countless famous dicks. Name a famous person from her era, or a famous man from, actually not just men.
Yeah.
Somebody famous from her era, chances are she has bumped genitalia with him.
She's
Was
the
she-
Pete Davidson of the 60s.
Yeah.
Was she banging a lot of dudes?
All of them.
She was loose. You would say she was a little loose.
By the end of her career, there was no tread left on the tires.
Damn.
And she died young. She died younger than us.
How old was she when she died?
36.
Damn.
36 years
I'm
old.
I'm 21, so
Yeah, you look
You're not
really
21.
good for your age.
thank you.
Do you moisturize?
Yes.
Sorry, this cord is a little bit too tight. There we go.
That's
So anybody have anything to say before we get into Marilyn Monroe?
no. Let's go.
All right, let's
I'm ready
do
to
it.
fuck. That's
So-
what they said that in the 40s, probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Anybody want to say something before we get into Marilyn Monroe? No, I want to fuck.
Do you have naked pictures of her that you can put on the screen?
there
Yeah,
are.
That'd be cool.
There are multiple naked pictures of her.
I've never seen nude pictures of her. Have you?
Really?
No.
Those were like more like Norma Jean pictures.
Well, she was one of the. So she did some nude modeling before she got really famous. Naughty. But then she, like, once she started to get a little bit more famous, she did a little bit more nude modeling because she was very comfortable being naked on camera. Because, I mean, she looked fucking great. If I looked like her, I'd be naked all the time.
I'd fuck you. Missionary.
Looking straight in the eyes.
Looking right in your eyes. I'd hold your eyes open while 2 other dudes jerk off into them.
Oh,
because
God.
I'd like you that much.
Oh, God.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, Adam.
I wish you weren't engaged. That would make my life
I'm
so much
actually
easier.
technically legally married now.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's is that something we can talk about on the show? Because that's news to me. What's going on with that?
So you get your marriage certificate in Texas, and then you have to go meet up with a judge who could sign your marriage certificate. That kind of looks like I don't know, it looks like an award you would win in elementary school.
Oh, I thought it would look like a bullseye, and you and your fiance just quick draw and shoot through the signature line.
It's a target. Yeah, at a range.
Was the judge's name Big Mistake?
No, the judge's name was Jan, and we went to.
Was she hot?
No, she was an old, witchy-looking woman, and she was a retired judge. And we went out to Jan's really nice house, and
You had to go to her house?
we had to go to her house. We went
I'm
to
more
her
confused about the female judge thing.
Yeah, I thought this was Texas.
Is that legal here?
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently it is. And her house looked really nice. It was a really nice neighborhood. And when we walked around the back, we had the ceremony literally on her back deck, which had a beautiful view. But you can also see inside her sliding glass, like door, and you look into her house, and it's literally an episode
Bondage
of
equipment
Hoarders.
from wall to wall.
It was like an episode of Hoarders, and you would never know looking at the front of the house, and you look in there. She came out. She was wearing I don't know. She was wearing the symbol for
sweatpants and a Tupac shirt.
No, the symbol for a man and a woman, but conjoined together.
Like the artist
in a
formerly known as
rainbow
Prince?
pattern on Crocs. She comes out because this is our wedding, and we're paying her $125, and she's wearing like
I wouldn't go outside.
a shirt that's simultaneously promoting
transgender
gayness
I think that's trans, right?
and Ukraine simultaneously.
Beautiful.
And I'm like,
love to
are you
see
going to
it.
change before we do this? And she's like, no, we'll just do this now. And I'm like, great. And then
She's like,
she
I don't
tried
give
to
a
pawn
shit.
off 2 of her. She has like her and her husband have a fucking house in like New Mexico. She tried to pawn that off as like a weekend, like kind of like Airbnb situation.
I'll use my friend's Airbnb area for your honeymoon.
Yeah.
Let's fucking do it.
I'm like,
What does she sound like?
she sounded like an old, like, whoa, far out, but like
She was hippie vibes?
hippie
She was a judge?
hippie vibes, but she had a very like comical Southern accent.
So a southern hippie former judge. That's wild.
Yeah,
In
it's
Crocs
weird.
and a gay shirt.
And then her husband is also a judge who's currently a sitting judge in somewhere in and around Austin, Texas. And apparently he just got out of rehab. He was actually in
I love these
a rehab facility while still
awesome.
performing his duties as a judge.
Dude, was she
I
sexual?
have endless amounts of faith in our legal system.
Yeah, there's nothing to worry
Wait,
about.
Adam, was she sexual? Like, did she have sexual vibes about her? Like, do they
No.
still bang? Or they dread out? Because I'm getting a very sexual vibe. between them.
When she walked,
if
did
I
it
had-
sound like 2 pieces of sandpaper rubbing together?
If I had to imagine, I imagine their sex was something similar to a max hardcore porn.
Oh, God.
Wait, I don't know what that is.
So she's
Old
dressing
school.
up like a little girl,
Yeah, and it's just anal.
and he's going to prison?
Yeah, he just
God.
fucks her in the ass, smears all of her makeup on her face.
Little frills on her socks.
Yeah, and then glazes her face like the edge of a sourdough bread bowl at Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco.
And he wears a cowboy hat the entire time.
Yeah.
Oh, God bless Max Hardcore. Miss
Yeah.
that guy. Is he still alive?
Yeah, Max Hardcore's still alive.
Is he out of prison?
We're in correspondence regularly. He's a big fan of Skeleton
your pen
Factory.
pals?
Big fan of the show.
Yeah.
All right. Well, right now, either in your hand or in your pocket, you will find a block of plastic, copper, lithium, silver, and dozens of other materials assembled into what we call a smartphone. And this plays
did you know that?
This plays into the story because I know a lot of stuff. I know everything. Swipe your fingers across a screen, punch in the numbers your brain associates with some fond memory, and download the hottest social media application currently responsible for turning the least productive members of society into millionaires. Within that dark morass of malignant narcissists, compulsive liars, and trust fund babies, you will find countless young women devoid of any real talent, yet still pursuing celebrity status.
The American dream.
It's the new American dream. American Dream 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps they're a mediocre singer, or they can replicate whatever dance is currently trending on TikTok, but their most valuable skills are having killer tits and a big old dump truck ass. Kind of like Delco Dan.
I don't have a problem with that at all so far.
I've enjoyed it very much over the course of my life.
I married a Puerto Rican.
That speaks for itself.
I think saying that they don't have talent is a little bit rude, Coop, because I think that having a nice ass is a talent. It might be a natural talent, or they work out every day.
It's not a talent. And
dancing is a very difficult skill. Can you dance?
No. Look at me.
Yeah.
Look at me. You know whether literally anybody can look at me and deduce whether or not I can dance. And the answer is always no.
Dude,
at the end of a rope, maybe.
There's this guy on TikTok I follow. I don't have TikTok, but there's a guy on Instagram that I follow. He looks like you, but he has a mullet and he's out of shape and he's like 6'8", and he could dance. He pulls up to red lights and gets out of the car he's driving and he pretends like he's upset with someone crossing the street. And then he does like crazy Michael Jackson dances, and it's fucking awesome.
Now, see, that's talent. Fat Cooper.
Yeah, his name's Fat Cooper. No, I don't know.
No, it's not a talent being attractive. That's something that you're kind of naturally born with. Your natural born physical attributes don't take. So somebody who's in really good shape, if you're talking about a bodybuilder or a model or anything like that,
that's part of attractiveness too.
That takes work, but it's not talent. It's not a skill that you're developing.
If you're 25 and you're not fat, you're doing something to stay in shape. You can have a pretty face.
At 25?
Well, 35.
Okay, 35, yeah. Yeah, 25 if you're...
I'd argue bodybuilding's a skill.
Yeah, I guess
it's incredibly hard.
But it's actually still incredibly fucking... Yeah,
it's like tap dancing.
It takes
you can't just tap dance.
It takes extreme amount of willpower, dedication, and determination.
Takes a lot
harder than a day job.
It takes a lot of discipline. It doesn't necessarily take a lot of practice, though. Like that's something that you can do repetitively, and you're just so like bodybuilding in particular. You do it repetitively. You have things that you need to learn.
The wrong way.
I think we're conflating something like being a bodybuilder, like the great Ronnie Coleman or Jay Cutler.
Ooh, Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah, buddy. Really big breast implants.
See,
those are two different things.
Yeah, there's so for bodybuilders that takes discipline.
I'd say being fuckable is a talent.
Is it? Because some people are naturally born fuckable.
True, but they also have
especially
if fuckable. Like it goes from being hot to being a sexual object, and
you can be hot. And no one wants
what about a clown?
If you are Jared from Subway, there are a lot of people that are born fuckable.
Yeah,
from a very young age.
Also, Thundercloud subs can suck my dick. I'd rather eat Subway than Thundercloud subs.
I still have never ate there.
Yeah, we've eaten at Thundercloud. We've ordered from Thundercloud a bunch of times.
See, you didn't remember because
it must have sucked then.
They got that spicy pepper relish, though. It's pretty good. It's not my favorite place.
I didn't have that.
The spicy pepper relish is damn good from Thundercloud.
Togo's guy.
Togo's, holy shit! That was the last sandwich place that I ever got food poisoning from, and that was back in Santa Barbara, California.
Sandwich place I got fired from. They found out that my cousin was a manager, so they had to fire me.
Oh, nepotism.
I mean, that's what I was told, but I think it was just massive ineptitude and me showing up high.
They had to come up with some story for it.
They're like, it's a conflict of interest.
Anyway, long story short, I think learning an instrument, learning how to dance, things like that. That's a talent, something that you have to practice. In terms of natural born,
Aren't there naturally talented guitarists and naturally talented
no,
dancers?
I honestly don't believe there are people that are naturally talented at something where they can just pick it up. It's somebody who, like, their brain might be set up in the proper way where it's a little bit easier for them, but it still takes a lot of practice and a lot of dedication to develop some sort of talent.
That's true, but I feel like people are inept in some way towards certain things. Like for me, for example, I have zero training in drawing, but I have a natural talent for just drawing shit. They're not very good. I know they're not the best because I have no training. I've never worked on it. But without ever trying, I could draw a better photo than most people.
Some people might have an inclination towards
It's like
things, but
people that
it still takes practice. What I'm talking about is like
to become a master.
If you're born with,
it's like left and right brain.
There's a little
shit.
bit of a gray area.
yeah, the way that I see it is if you're born with, if you're blessed with certain physical attributes, that's not something that you had to put any work to. That's like somebody who's
those talents for a comparable skill.
Yes.
Like, there's a famous video of a bodybuilder who was around when, like, Arnold was around, named Tom Platz.
You mean Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Tom Platz had the biggest legs in bodybuilding, and he was known as the Golden Eagle. And there's a famous video of him squatting. It was at like a bodybuilding competition. It was kind of like an exhibition of, like, look how fucking strong this guy is. Because Tom Platz wasn't just, like, jacked. He was strong. Some bodybuilders look great, but they're not like powerlifters strong. Powerlifters look fat and slowly,
powerlifters
but
don't look like
strong.
bodybuilders.
I feel like
Tom Platz was both. There's the video is Tom Platz squatting 500 pounds for a set of 23. And people nowadays, with all the steroids and all the fucking newfangled shit, have tried to like beat Tom Platz's 500 for 23. Like, and people just can't do it. Like, modern day guys now with all the advantages and all the bullshit. Like, he had physical talent, but Tom Platz was also like obsessed with his lower body. Like, he had gigantic legs. He was obsessed with squatting, and he became very, very, very good at it. And he was stronger than most
is that really
people.
a talent, or is that just discipline?
It's a talent and a skill. Because squatting is like there's a lot. It's like playing. I don't know.
Well, part
it'd
of
be like playing scales on a guitar. Like, you just have to do it over and over and over again. And squatting is incredibly difficult. It's not like
absolutely.
Yeah, like squatting is very, very difficult. It looks easy, but to do it correctly with a lot of weight on your back without hurting yourself is very hard.
Yeah.
And and Tom Platz is one of those guys who is like not only looks great, but he's legitimately strong. He can do shit that guys like Arnold, guys like Lou Ferrigno, that were way bigger, way bigger, probably couldn't do it.
I think that has to do with mastering your, like, everybody has a natural talent. Like, Coop, maybe you don't, but, like, I do.
Yeah.
Mustache growing.
No, see,
you have a natural,
this is not a talent. This is a God-given gift.
No, because you've hid that talent for years. And you
I never discovered it, but I didn't have to do anything for this to happen.
Yeah, you do. You
literally
wax it, you comb it,
just shape
you take
it.
care of it,
now-
you shape it.
Now I do. That's
mastering your
accentuating my natural ability.
Yeah. Also,
This isn't something that I had to work for. I literally had to do nothing, and it happened.
You had to shape it like that. It's not like having a big dick. Big dick. It's not like, well, I worked at having a big dick. You just have a big dick.
I've been doing curls every day.
I think there's some weird in between. Like, I think everyone has a natural talent of some kind at some level, and a lot of people, when they have a natural talent at a young age, they will decide to fight against it. It's like you have perfect hair, but you wanted the curly hair. You don't want your natural talent, so you fight against it. The people that succeed in life are the ones the ones that go to the big show, the big high, make billions of dollars. They have a talent. They realize they have a talent, and they're willing to master that skill and forget, even if they don't even like it. Like, if I would have spent my whole life mastering my natural talent, which is drawing, like I probably would be making incredible paintings right now and doing all this cool shit with my natural talent, but I don't like drawing. It's not fun for me. I do it because I can. If I would just accept this is the only thing I'm good at and spent my life mastering that natural talent, I would have succeeded in life. And now I'm a fucking loser. That
So
podcasts with my friends.
what I'm getting at with this is if you're naturally just born attractive with good genetics and you have a really good metabolism, it doesn't take you a whole lot of work to continually be extremely attractive to people, especially if you're a female, which that's an objective truth. Men are much thirstier than women are. So attractive women can kind of skate by just by being attractive. Either one of you guys ever watch 30 Rock?
No.
No.
I'm not a hippie.
Okay, I'm not surprised by that, but there was a
I'm
really...
not an old woman.
Okay, well, I am at heart. So
That's
please
that's
don't...
your
That's your
talent.
natural talent.
That's my talent. Is I was born old. There's some episodes of... I hate referencing pop culture to make a point because I think it's like the weakest way to establish any fucking point.
I do that.
Well, no, I'm talking about like mainstream. No, pop culture, popular culture, mainstream shit.
Not obscure, weird nonsense. Where
Referencing obscure,
I
weird
reference
nonsense.
the August Underground fucking snuff film movies.
Yes,
To
exactly.
be like, look, this is why crypto is nonsense.
So what I'm getting at is there's a handful of episodes of 30 Rock where they have John Hamm on the show. John Hamm from Mad Men.
Yeah.
And his whole character, his whole persona is he's an attractive man who thinks that he is great at everything. And what it is he's so attractive that he's so attractive and charismatic that everybody just says like, "Oh, you're so good at this," because they want to be on his good side or they want to have sex with him.
Yeah.
And that got him to this point where he just thought that he was good at everything, even though he was inept at everything. And that's the point that I'm getting at, which plays into the story of Marilyn Monroe, because Marilyn Monroe was not a great actress for a very long time. She had to work for years and years to get to the point where she was even a passable actress. And she also wasn't a good person. I mean, I'd say objectively she was a terrible person with horrible morals.
Maybe that was her talent.
She was skating by on her titties and ass, is what I'm getting at. And that's a certain type of talent that I don't have that much respect for. If it can be considered
But if it
talent,
works
which
for
is
you-
up for debate.
It works for them, then it works for everybody.
Well, I guess if it works, it's not stupid.
In my younger years, I was like, your charms are useless against me, ma'am. And next thing you know, you're eating someone's ass. Actually, what someone told me today, I work with this very robust lesbian woman at work.
Robust.
And she was, she's literally my size. And she's like, you know, one thing I learned about she's like the kinkiest bitches, their house is a fucking mess. Girls who are clean, boring at bed. And she used to work for kink.com.
Wow.
Which is,
very
that place is
That
interesting.
That is a very, very fair point.
Yeah, she was like, I was like, that's true. Yeah.
From my experience, that is extremely accurate.
Yeah, places that are just a dump.
Oh,
They'll
shit.
eat your ass after not showering for a weekend and
You know something that Marilyn Monroe was known for?
eating ass.
Well, no, she
Starfishing?
she was known for literally laying in bed and eating, and when she was done with her plates, with food on them, she would just like kick them down to the foot of the bed underneath the blankets, and just leave them there for the maid to clean up.
Oh, fuck.
No wonder everybody wanted to fuck her. She was freaky as fuck.
Yeah, I didn't have. I think I'm the odd man out on that. The messy house doesn't compare to the sex in my life.
Yeah.
But you know, whatever.
From my experience, the best sex has been with somebody that has either it's a very obvious form of messiness or it's a thinly veiled form of messiness.
I mean, I'm not saying it's true.
Messiness.
I don't think it's true.
I'm just saying it's like it's
coincidence.
kind of true. It's generally true. It's a generalization.
Okay, so correlation does not equal causation, but
remember I
I'd
hooked
say
up-
that there's a strong correlation there.
I'm just saying that like every dirty bitch I ever hooked up with was dirty.
Yeah, I hooked up with this dirty chick, and her place was messy, and then I was getting ready to get freaky, and there was literally shit on her ass. And I was like, all right, goodbye.
Okay, see, the ones that you have to watch out
this is
for
gross.
is
I'm out of here.
So the messiness has to go outwards, not inwards.
Dishes,
Outwardly
garbage, cat boxes. Not your ass smells like a cat box.
Yeah, you don't. If they have dingleberries, that's a little bit too far into the danger
Oh, I didn't
zone.
know she
Yeah.
did until I got there.
Well, I mean, that's you live and
She
you learn.
smelled good. And then there was a little poopy on there. And I was like, oh, that's weird.
Oh God, how much Axe body spray was she using?
And her place was gross. Yeah. Anyway.
The great Marilyn
And
Monroe.
the sex wasn't very good.
Anyway, back to the great Marilyn
She did give me a
Monroe.
blowjob in a tree, though. Anyway.
Holy shit, I remember that story.
In the-
Oh, okay, I know who you're talking. I
In
know
a
who you're
tree.
talking about now.
Yeah.
So
We were kids. We were
How am I
young
gonna
little
segue
kids.
into
Was it
this?
a Christmas tree?
No. We just were hanging out. We were young teenagers, climbed a tree, and then she was like, I'll suck your dick. You know?
as you do.
Yeah.
All right, so how do I segue into this? So I had like these first three paragraphs all linked together.
We're like 30, we're
Creative.
30 minutes into
Jesus
the show.
Christ.
We haven't even started.
Yeah, we're still at the dick sucking tree. And we're not climbing
The
we're
giving
not climbing
head,
down.
the giving head tree.
It was pretty cool. Instead of the tree of woe, it's the tree of
Tree of
woe.
hose.
Contemplate this in the tree of
of
blows.
Job. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go back to this previous paragraph just to string all this together. Within this dark morass of malignant narcissists, compulsive liars, and trust fund babies, you will find countless young women devoid of any real talent, yet still pursuing celebrity status. I have to extend that to men also because there are a lot of men on there that are devoid of talent outside of just looking good on camera without anything else going for them. Perhaps they're a mediocre singer, or they can replicate whatever dance is currently trending on TikTok, but their most valuable skills are having killer tits or killer pecs and a big old dump truck ass or a nice smile. This may seem like a modern phenomenon, essentially the slimy afterbirth of the internet sliding out of the battered birth canal of human ingenuity. But this is merely the newest iteration of the time-honored tradition of using horny people to make money. Our topic for today's episode was so good at this that she has become a legend. Her name was Norma Jean Baker, but the world will always remember her by her stage name, Marilyn Monroe. And she was the OG IG Thought. So that's original gangster Instagram, that hoe over there. For the people that aren't up on the internet terms. Despite her glamorous image, Marilyn Monroe had more in common with a modern gold-digging sugar baby than the strong, independent woman her fans often picture her as. This singing and dancing. Sorry.
God damn it.
This singing and dancing dumpster fire left a trail of broken hearts, broken marriages, and broken men in her wake over the 36 drug-fueled years she spent on this earth.
God bless.
So let's disrespect the dead and explain why Marilyn Monroe was a fucking train wreck.
So wait, so you hate Marilyn Monroe after your research?
No, I don't hate her. It's just
Was she a
like,
piece of shit?
yeah, I think she was a piece of shit. But it's like any
Floyd Mayweather levels piece
not
of shit?
no, nowhere near Floyd Mayweather.
John Lennon?
No.
Okay,
No,
so
I'd say
she's lesser
it's
than
like
that, but
Floyd Mayweather and Che Guevara are up at the top.
yeah, that's as bad as it gets.
Slightly
What about
below that
McAfee?
is John Lennon. McAfee's McAfee's
Where
a
is
hero.
she compared to McAfee?
McAfee is a goddamn hero.
Have you heard like McAfee? There's a thing out there that's saying he's still alive.
Yeah, there's a new
And he's in
article.
Texas?
I saw that recently.
I believe
It's
it.
one of his ex-wives saying that he faked his death and he's still alive. I'd believe it too.
I believe
Fuck
it.
yeah.
But he also claimed that he fucked a whale, which I actually also
believe that
believe.
I believe that also.
course
Like,
he
whoa,
did.
fuck.
See, that's why John John McAfee is at the very, very bottom level of pieces of shit.
Raping a whale is not like illegal. It's not offensive.
And not only that, so the way that he explained it,
He killed his nephew or whatever, though.
you cannot rape a whale. A whale is hundreds of times heavier than a human. If you have sex with a whale, you better believe that that is consensual because it could fucking kill you. Anyway, on June 1st, 1926, little Norma Jean Mortensen was born to Gladys Pearl Baker, a film negative cutter from film negative cutter for Consolidated Film Industries. Gladys was married to Martin Edward Mortensen, but the two were separated at the time, and the separation from her husband gave Gladys the freedom to bump uglies with her co-worker, Charles Gifford. A DNA test conducted in 2022 confirmed that Gifford was, in fact, Monroe's biological father.
Okie dokie.
And so she was born Norma Jean Mortensen, but she later changed her name to Baker because her father, Mortensen, abandoned her, and she didn't want to take the name of the guy that abandoned her. She had abandonment issues throughout her entire life, and that drove a lot of her actions.
Oh, abandonment. That makes a loose woman.
Loose men, too. Monroe's upbringing was wrought with turbulence and instability. At the time of her birth, her mother was both mentally and financially unprepared to raise a child, forcing her to place her baby daughter with a foster family until 1933. When Marilyn was 7 years old, her mother purchased a small house in Hollywood and brought her daughter to live with her. This is why I think that, I know that she's more of a troubled person than just being a flat-out piece of shit, because she had a really, really rough upbringing with a lot of bad experiences. So it's not like she was born the way that she ended up being. She was formed by her life. It was nurture more than nature.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gladys and Marilyn shared their new home with actors George and Maud Atkinson and their daughter Nellie. Maud and Nellie seemed nice enough, but George, on the other hand, was a huge piece of shit, and George is a piece of shit.
Yeah, George the Animal Steel.
Yeah. Uh-huh. It's believed that George... Oh man.
George is her daddy.
No. George.
Wait,
George isn't her daddy. George is the husband of... So the husband of Maud Atkinson. They were aspiring actors, and he was... the family were boarding with Marilyn and her mom.
Okay, sorry.
So Maud and Nellie seemed nice enough, but George, like I said, was a piece of shit. It's believed that George molested 7-year-old Marilyn over the course of 16 months, causing her to become shy and develop a stutter. Literally gave her a stutter and completely changed her personality by molesting her.
Made her a star.
Hey, you
got to be unique, like
make an
Arnold,
omelet. You got to
can't talk. Stallone has a stroke.
And Marilyn Monroe
Van
was
Damme
molested.
had a lump on her head, and Marilyn Monroe had a stutter.
No, that's one way to put it. Marilyn was saved from the abuse by her mother having a nervous breakdown in 1934 and being committed to a mental institution. Wow, we are throwing some jokes into
what year was that?
1934.
1934, she was in a mental institution.
No, her mother was. So her mom had a nervous breakdown, and
her head really hurts.
What?
And if she doesn't find a way out of here, she's gonna go berserk.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's a Black Flag reference for the uninitiated.
Slurping on that. I can't believe you're just slurping on that.
Yeah, I'm impressed that you've been able to slowly pace out.
See, this is when you know you're an adult. I've had this Capri Sun for an hour and a half or 2 hours
chase
now.
it with some whiskey.
That's insane.
It sounds
This
really
is the
loud
first
on
time in
the
my
mic.
life I've ever been able to.
That's like sipping a Jaeger bomb over several hours. It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, I can't believe you're drinking that. Those things are so sweet. It's like drinking sugar.
Yeah.
And you still maintain that powerful physique and that beautiful face. Maybe you have a natural talent for being sexy and handsome, but
No,
refuse
it's
to
not.
use it.
It's not talent.
He's cultivating mass, and he has
You just
impressive
refuse to you
striations.
refuse to use your natural talent and maximize it.
No, the trick is Capri Suns are like steroids for me.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So after Marilyn's mom went to a mental institution, now a ward of the state, Marilyn was placed into the care of her mother's friend, Grace Goddard. After a short stint in the Los Angeles orphans' home, Grace became Marilyn's legal guardian, and the future actress moved in with her and her husband, Erwin Doc Goddard. Grace seemed nice enough,
Erwin.
but her husband was a piece of
Fucking
shit.
Erwin, dude.
He went by Doc.
The Doc.
Like George Atkinson had done before him, Doc molested young Marilyn during her stay in their home. Like I said, she was a product of her upbringing. In the years following her time with the Goddards, Marilyn's living situation constantly changed as she moved between the homes of relatives, family friends, and foster homes.
Did he get caught doing it?
Nobody ever got in trouble for molesting Marilyn Monroe when she was young.
God damn it.
None of them.
This is like back in the Patricia Douglas days.
Yeah,
we need to do those episodes.
So there's actually a crossover in this episode between Marilyn Monroe and Patricia Douglas because the same people that victimized Patricia Douglas also victimized Marilyn Monroe.
Those motherfuckers.
Is that the wife from My Three Sons?
Yeah, it is. No, she was an old. Well, she roughly considered an actress. She had a few bit parts, but she was one of the many women that got victimized by what was his name? Zucker from Fox.
Harvey Weinstein the First.
Harvey Weinstein the First.
Yeah, the
Harvey Weinstein Sr.
The evil stepfather of fucking Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, they were the prototypical Harvey Weinsteins, like
they invented
the people
casting
that
couch, basically.
they paved the way for they walked so Harvey Weinstein could run.
Oh God.
Yeah,
he's standing on the shoulders of
of giant pedophiles.
It's fucked up, and yeah, we need to. I think we should.
We'll
do
Patricia Douglas again.
She deserves it because we did a 4-parter on her back in the day, like 4 years ago.
Oh yeah, it was at least 4 parts.
Four or five.
It might have been 5 parts because we went through the history of the casting couch originally, how it originated with Broadway, and then went into Patricia Douglas after that.
Yeah, and MGM, and then we did one on Harvey Weinstein too.
Yeah.
Cunts. They're cunts. All of them.
Oh yeah,
they're not
absolute
they're not
fucking monsters.
They're not great people.
Not from what I've read.
I mean, they're great at producing films.
I never met him in person though, so I can't really judge. I guess.
I actually, my
right,
barbering mentor, when he was living in New York, Harvey Weinstein had he had an office in New York, and he was hired to go to his office and cut his hair. And he's like, Harvey Weinstein was a fucking asshole then. Long before anybody knew he was a fucking raping people.
I was cutting his hair and he made me suck his dick.
Exactly.
He was edging up his sideburns. He's all lower,
much lower.
He made me shave his balls. That's as bad as it got. I didn't have to fuck him, but I had to shave his fucking balls.
Oh God. And the lather he had to use from the smegma from his asshole.
Yeah, he had to use his spit as aftershave.
Anal froth.
Did you say anal froth?
Anal
yes.
froth.
You know, I know you know what I'm talking about. You have to work it up.
In the years following her time with the Goddards, Marilyn's living situation constantly changed as she moved between the homes of relatives, family friends, and foster homes. The chaos she experienced ended up being a driving factor in her becoming a world-famous actress later in life. In her own words, and I quote, do you want to read the quote, Adam? Can you do a Marilyn Monroe?
A Marilyn Monroe, of course. Certainly. I didn't like the world around me because it was kind of grim. When I heard that this was acting, I said, that's what I want to be. Some of my foster families used to send me to the movies to get me out of the house. And there I'd sit all day away into the night, but up in front, there with the screen so big, a little kid all alone, and I loved it. And I love cum. This is what he typed on the paper. I just read it as it was typed.
Thank you for sticking to the script.
Thank you.
Yeah. You sounded just like her from what I remember of her.
She's very breathy. Everything is very like projected from the chin.
Very, very breathy.
Because when you project from the chin, it makes the chest flare.
When Marilyn was only 16, the Goddards were forced to move from their home in Van Nuys due to Doc's job being relocated to West Virginia. So she had still been living with the Goddards during this time, even though Doc Goddard was like,
rapey.
Yeah, very, very rapey.
He Goddard several times.
Goddard damn near killed her. So while she was living with them, due to some of the child protection laws that they had in place, when they moved out of the state, she wasn't able to go with them. And her only other option, without having any other family members that could take her in, her only other option was to either go back to an orphanage or just be homeless. But there was a third option. And her third option was to get married.
How old is she?
16. Child protection laws prevented Marilyn from moving with them, which was a good thing considering how much of a piece of shit Doc Goddard was. Unfortunately, this put the 16-year-old at risk of being sent back to the orphanage, which she definitely didn't want to do either. So instead, she married the 21-year-old son of a neighboring family named James Doherty, and the two moved in together.
Aww.
But that's also like a really shitty situation to be in, where it's like, all right, you can either go to an orphanage, you can be homeless, or you can marry the 21-year-old neighbor's son, regardless of whether or not you like him, just so you can live in the same area.
Maybe they like each other.
No, she didn't.
Great.
So James Doherty, from everything that I could find, he didn't seem like a bad guy. He was just boring as shit. In terms of what she considered to be interesting, because he was a solid guy overall, but he wasn't exciting to her.
What was his name?
James Doherty.
More like James Boring. Am I right? Yeah. Got him.
Fucking got him. The marriage with Doherty was rocky, largely because Marilyn thought James was about as exciting as watching reruns of the Weather Channel. She was given a reprieve from her boring husband in 1944 when he was shipped to the Pacific as part of his job as a merchant marine. While her husband was away, she began working at a munitions factory in Van Nuys, California, where she would have a chance meeting that changed her life forever. This was during the Rosie the Riveter days, where all the men were going overseas doing the real fucking work. All the women were back working in the factories. God, they have it so easy.
Before that.
Yeah, because the men went on to do harder things, Joel.
Yeah, like killing krauts.
Well, he was killing Japs. Well, no, he wasn't killing Japs. He was hanging out in the Pacific, but he was a merchant marine. He was essentially like
He was Joaquin Phoenix's character in The Master.
He was a UPS driver.
He was making prison pruno in the bottom of a battleship and selling it to cult leaders.
Okay, that seems really fucking exciting, though.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, I love that movie, The Master.
It's amazing.
It's hard to watch, but the first couple of times, it's incredible. Great the first time. Incredible.
David Conover was a photographer for the U.S. Army that had been sent to take pictures of all the Rosie the Riveters working in the factories while the boys were off fighting Tojo and Hitler. Marilyn met Conover in late 1944, and by January of 1945, she was modeling full-time for Conover and his friends. So, modeling full-time for Conover and his friends...
that means fucking him, right?
Thank you. Although her husband James disapproved of her modeling career, Marilyn signed a contract with the Blue Book Modeling Agency in August of 1945, officially beginning her journey to fame and fortune. This is a recurring theme throughout her life, that the the men that she has close relationships with disapprove of her being a sex symbol. Like, there's a lot of jealousy involved. There's a lot of uncertainty in the relationship, and
is it because she's a sex symbol, or is it because she's fucking everybody when she goes anywhere?
Bingo. That, yeah.
Just wondering.
No, that's
asking for a friend.
No,
not trying to be rude.
No, accurate though.
Just wondering.
Marilyn saw some early success in her modeling career, and she was featured in a handful of advertisements for men's magazines. Her bosses at the agency were impressed with her work ethic and ambition, which landed her on the cover of over 30 magazines.
By ambition, you mean they're impressed
Blowjobs.
by her work ethic and how ambitious she
Oral
was
sex.
sucking their dick.
Yes,
yeah.
oral sex. No, she was, in Marilyn's defense, she was actually very dedicated to her craft, and she put a lot of work into it, and she was a hard worker. Like, she was chasing that bread every single day, or else she wouldn't have got to where she was. But she did have just, some...
I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but that's... If you play the game, you can succeed.
No, you can. Like, see...
That's part of using the talent, like I was saying earlier.
So as
she
much
had
as...
a natural talent, and then she sucked a lot of D to get to the top.
What's the name of that ugly fucking ginger guy that plays the acoustic guitar that got...
Bill Burr.
He plays the drums.
Yeah, he plays drums.
He has a shaved head now. You're talking about you
Top.
used to wear the jersey all the time.
Not all the time.
Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran.
Your
I had to
yeah.
wear it once because I had nothing else to wear.
You wore it more than once.
And now it's in a shadow box in my apartment where it should be, because it's a fucking... It's a treasure. It shouldn't be worn.
You have it at your apartment?
Ed Sheeran.
You got to bring that back.
No, I don't have it.
Oh, okay. We need that here.
So, why is that not here? I thought that was on the wall here somewhere.
It used to be. It's gone now.
I'm not going to put anything from Ed Sheeran up on my walls.
God bless Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, that's weird.
I mean, honestly, yeah, God bless him, because you look at him, he is
and he made
he's
it.
an
And
ugly
he's
ginger,
fucking
and he
tense.
is famous as fuck, and he's a sex symbol.
Yeah, he used his natural
That doesn't
talent.
impress me. That's just coming back up to base level.
He's so fucking ugly.
Danny Elfman is headlining festivals, and he's like 200 years old, but people want to hear him sing fucking Weird Science. It's
That's
like
gangster
talented, ugly people is when music was great.
Is that the guy from the
Well,
Partridge
that's
Family?
what Ed Sheeran is. So you should love Ed Sheeran then, according to what you just said.
No.
Ed Sheeran is uglier than sin.
And his
He
music
is the
sucks.
ugliest famous person that exists right now.
I'm not saying ugly people are talented. I'm saying the era of ugly people who were talented, there was a time where there was a concentration of that. But
The
then
concentration.
Oh, the
camp of that.
1970s and the 1980s, the music industry
Everyone's teeth
before
was
music
fucked up.
videos. The music industry before music videos was just chock-a-block with ugly
just a
motherfuckers railing puss every single
fucking
goddamn
REO
day.
Speedwagon. It's just like, do I need to say any more?
And I would still fuck every single one of those guys.
Yes, I would. And I'll keep
Teach
on
their
loving
own,
you.
I guess.
So Marilyn
Weirdos.
ran into David Conover while she was working as Rosie the Riveter, and although her husband James disapproved her modeling career, Marilyn signed a contract with the Blue Book Modeling Agency in August of 1945, officially beginning her journey to fame and fortune. Marilyn saw some early success in her modeling career, and she was featured in a handful of advertisements in men magazines. Marilyn straightened her curls and her brown hair and dyed it platinum blonde, and this iconic look would stay with her for the rest of her life. In 1946, Marilyn set her sights on the silver screen. Her first film contract came from 20th Century Fox head executive and Harvey Weinstein prototype, Daryl F. Zanuck himself. And Daryl Zanuck was one of the guys that was involved with the scandal with Patricia Douglas.
He doesn't deserve his name to be said again.
Yeah, he was on Pumping Iron. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he?
I used to outlift him all the
Oh.
time. He was a little queer. So fucked him.
No, he was way too straight, and I think that was, or he was overcompensating, because Zanuck
Is he the one
was,
that had the golden dick in his drawer?
No, that was the guy from MGM. What was his name? I don't remember off the top of my head, but pretty much the same.
Their
fucking
names
thing.
don't deserve to be said.
They
so
were all
fuck 'em.
fucking dirtbags.
Yeah.
Like all the guys from that era were insane over the
bunch
top
of rapey
fucking
dudes
dirtbags.
just using the Hollywood fame thing to fuck a bunch of chicks.
Yeah.
Well, rape a bunch of chicks. That makes it worse.
Yeah. I dare say that 90% of their sexual interactions were
Rapey.
outright rape or heavily coerced. So next, the executives at Fox
That's
decided
not
she
funny.
needed.
That's not funny, Adam. Why are you laughing?
Because in my head, I was saying, it was like, you want this movie part? You have to suck my dick. And then she's like, no. Please?
Wait, have you ever heard the story of? Oh fuck! What was the guy's name?
Please? All right.
Okay. What was the guy's name who wrote "Singing in the Rain"? God, I can't remember.
Another
Bing
name that
Crosby?
doesn't need to be said.
Danny Kaye?
No,
Another piece of shit that doesn't.
Oh,
name doesn't matter.
Massive piece of
The guy
shit.
that sang
but,
Singing in the Rain.
So the guy who, not the guy who sang Singing
wrote
in the
it,
Rain,
sorry.
the guy who wrote Singing in the Rain, tried to molest Shirley Temple. Shirley fucking Temple. And when he pulled his dick out in front of her, she started laughing. She was like 11 years old at the time. Mm-hmm. He pulled his dick out in front of her.
Rodeo.
And she started laughing at him, and he kicked her out of his office.
Dodged the bullet.
She fucking at 11 years old, she fucking humiliated this guy because he had such a sad, weird, small, crooked little penis that it couldn't even impress an 11-year-old who had arguably only seen like 5 or 6 before that.
Yeah.
Like how? Performing like moils at fucking.
She was in the film industry.
Oh.
Yeah.
You gotta get in somehow.
Unfortunately, that's actually true, even though it's a joke.
Guys' dicks were modeling as the Hindenburg. They're like, oh, the humanity. They're like, we could just build a model of the Hindenburg. They're like, no. Have you seen Frank's dick? Very
Yeah, I was just thinking,
aerodynamic.
like, making airplane sounds like, all right, open the hangar. That is fucked up. All right, so.
Well said, Coop. Well said.
Yes, thank you. I am definitely in the right headspace for talking about this right now. So next, the executives at Fox decided she needed a stage name to match her platinum blonde hair and stunning looks. They settled on a combination of Broadway star Marilyn Miller's name and Marilyn Monroe's mother's maiden name, which was Monroe. Thus, Marilyn Monroe was born. Marilyn had the looks required to be a star. She was just lacking the talent. So the struggling actress fell back on the tried and true method of sucking and fucking her way straight to the top. Objectively true. Objectively true. She would not have gotten her break in the industry if she wasn't fucking executives.
Platinum Bond, changed her name, Marilyn Monroe, Eminem. Do you think that's why Eminem became so famous?
He doesn't have any fucking talent either. He's just a face.
His blonde hair isn't real.
He's got the blonde hair, the big tits, nice legs, wears dresses everywhere.
Eminem.
She made frequent visits to the offices of influential producers, entertained male guests at studio functions, and occasionally made the beast with two backs with Fox executive Joseph Schenck in order to secure more work. And the plan was a resounding success. God,
So she could bang. That's her natural talent. She can fuck.
literally everyone who ever talked about having sex with her was amazed.
Really?
Yeah.
God bless
But
her.
the people, so the guys that had to work with her on set once she was at the peak of her career absolutely hated working with her, but they loved the pussy.
Wait, did the set guys, like set crew, got a little piece of the action too?
Set photographer did. I mean,
Really?
at least documented a set photographer did.
Did he take a picture?
God, I hope so.
Because it'll last longer?
A picture's worth 1,000 STDs. Marilyn gobbled Shank's hog so well that he convinced his friend Harry Cohn to give her a contract at Columbia Pictures in 1948. Her films with Columbia were unfortunately box office failures, so she started fucking Johnny Hyde, the vice president of William Morris Agency. This didn't sit well with Johnny's poor wife, but for Marilyn, the success of her career was more important than something silly like the sanctity of marriage. In the following years, Marilyn continued to rotate through the beds of powerful Hollywood executives and actors. It was like musical chairs, but with copious amounts of semen and infidelity. Among the notches on her bedpost were, like this, I had to truncate this list to make it smaller because the entire list, seriously, like, dude, she has a fucking lineup of guys that she's nailed. Like, it's the who's who of the golden age of Hollywood.
God bless her.
Wow.
It's honestly impressive. So among the notches on her bedpost were directors Nicholas Ray and Elia Kazan, who was married at the time, Fox studio head Daryl Zanuck, business magnate and celebrated piss collector Howard Hughes, authored Robert Salazar.
She cranked Howard Hughes?
She fucked Howard Hughes.
That's awesome.
It might have just been a golden shower, though. Authored Robert Slatzer and old Blue Eyes himself, Frank Sinatra. She also fucked two of the most powerful men in the country, brothers John F. Kennedy and Robert F. Kennedy.
She got them both.
Oh, yeah. And
that makes them brothers and Eskimo
and
brothers.
Eskimo brothers.
God bless them.
Monroe was very fond of nailing her fellow actors as well. Throughout her career, she worked her way through Yul Brynner, Peter Lawford, Marlon Brando, Robert Mitchum, George Sanders, Tony Curtis, Milton Berle, which makes no fucking sense to me.
He famously has a gigantic penis.
Is that what it is?
Milton Berle has a
Okay,
giant
because
dick.
God, that guy is...
Oh, that was for her. That one was
That
for her.
was for her.
That
She
was-
earned
that's
that
for
one.
her.
Yeah, the rest was
It was the punch card. That was number 10.
Even back in his heyday, before he was an old man insulting RuPaul on stage, he was a weird-looking motherfucker.
Yeah.
So she also fucked George Jessel and reportedly had a fling with Joan Crawford.
Nice.
And that's only a partial list. Put bluntly, Marilyn Monroe had more famous fingers inside of her than the cement outside of Grauman's Chinese Theater. Probably her most famous relationship was with retired baseball star Joe DiMaggio. We were talking about this earlier before the show, and I think that this relationship it's very toxic, but also very tragic, in my opinion. Monroe and DiMaggio married in 1954, and as it is in any good marriage, they immediately began making one another miserable. Joe was jealous and controlling, with a penchant for domestic abuse, and Marilyn was a narcissistic and manipulative so-and-so with... I think I was a little angry when I was writing this episode.
What did you write? What did you write for real?
Marilyn
He used the N-word.
Fuck,
You
I
the
did.
C word?
No, it was...
B word?
No. It was, and Marilyn was
A-word.
narcissistic and manipulative with an appetite for male attention. They were a match made in heaven if heaven was a meth-filled trailer park.
That sounds great.
Right?
That sounds great.
That's the relationship that I'm striving for, because that's what I grew up with.
Yeah, I did a lot of meth in my young days, and I remember thinking, like, this can't last, but god damn it, it'd be great if it did. a meth trailer park in heaven. There's absolutely nothing better than that.
Oh, man, my Capri Sun's almost gone.
You're upset about your Capri Sun?
I am.
Well, do you have another one?
No.
Do you want something else?
Do you need something
I'm gonna
else?
get you something.
Here, let me...
I've got to pee really bad.
So do I.
Let's take a pee break.
Okay, you guys take a pee break. I'm going to take a Capri Sun and whiskey break.
I'll keep the shot
For
on
a
you.
second, I'm like, don't pour that in there. It's
What
not-
time
it's
is
not
this
gonna
at?
work.
I would try, but... So, the unhappy couple would constantly get in heated arguments, oftentimes right in front of friends and colleagues. One of their quarrels began immediately after Marilyn filmed her famous upskirt scene in the movie 7 Year Itch. Like,
Wait, is that the scene? Like the scene with the vent?
the quintessential Marilyn Monroe scene, yeah, where she's
Vent
standing over
blowing
the
up.
subway
That's
grate,
the
she's wearing
drawing
the
I did
white
for the
dress. Yeah, that's like the most iconic Marilyn Monroe image is from 7 Year Itch.
They reenacted in the Jackrabbit Slims scene in Pulp Fiction, which
What?
Yeah, when they go to Jackrabbit Slims, there's the Marilyn Monroe, and she does the vent thing, which means somebody built a fake vent that blew up air inside of a restaurant so that a Marilyn Monroe waitress could stand over it.
That's hot.
Quentin
It's badass.
Tarantino.
I did something similar once, but it was just so I could sit underneath the vent and look up
You
skirts.
just titty fucked some guy's feet. Joel's feet while he was unconscious one night.
Ew.
Same thing.
There's a vent, and you just see like Coop's little pee-pee, like
titty
sticking,
fucking his feet.
fucking the vent.
You put your feet
Jesus,
inside of a
Coop.
bra and titty fucked it. That's a classic.
Don't
guy.
kink shame me. Like James Doherty before him, Joe didn't like Marilyn being a sex symbol. Soon after the scene was shot, the couple got into a shouting match that was witnessed by the film crew and members of the media. So the fight broke out at the location that they were filming, and people had been gathering around for a while because one of the I think it was one of the producers wanted to advertise it to build up hype for the film. So there was hundreds, if not close to 1,000 people that witnessed this fight, which then spilled over inside of the building where they're just screaming at each other the entire time. And she's one of the biggest stars on the planet at that point. And Joe DiMaggio is Joe DiMaggio. He's one of the most famous baseball players of all time. Mm-hmm. Needless to say, Marilyn filed for divorce in October of 1954 after only 9 months of marriage. And this is... So I got into a bit of a rabbit hole when I was researching this episode, getting into the psychology of Marilyn Monroe, where there's been a bunch of different psychologists that have done post-hoc
psychological profiles.
Post-hoc psychological profiles. Consider they'll go through her life, her relationship history, stories about her. They read through her letters, diaries, any information that they can get about Marilyn Monroe. And the most consistent diagnoses that were the result of any of these interpretations were either histrionic personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, but every single one of them came up with narcissistic personality disorder. But they were always combined with either histrionic or borderline personality disorder.
What's histrionic?
Histrionic, I'm not enough of an expert to really describe it properly, because histrionic personality disorder and borderline personality disorder and narcissism,
they're all complicated.
Yeah, all of them they share some points, but not all of them. They're all separated into different categories for a reason. But the one
they're
that
all fucked up.
Yeah, they're all fucked up. And the thing about
called disorders, right?
Yeah, well, the thing about personality disorders is personality disorder is very unique because it's something that can't really be treated with. It can't be cured with medicine or therapy. It's something that the person themselves, they have to identify and admit that it's a problem, mm-hmm. and then keep an eye out for those signs. So somebody who's depressed or somebody who has anxiety, somebody who's bipolar, those are things where it's more of a mental issue, where they can identify or have it explained to them.
There's trigger moments.
Yeah, it's something that it's much easier to, I don't want to say easier, but it's something that can be identified and treated easier than a personality disorder. Because a personality
easier to diagnose.
Yeah. A personality disorder is something that is extremely hard to treat because it has to be identified by the person themselves. They have to come to the realization. You know how they'll say the first step to recovery is admitting that you have a problem.
Yeah.
That's one of the things with personality disorders is they have to understand that they have a problem themselves, and getting them to understand that they have that problem is extremely difficult, because with a personality disorder, it's ingrained into your very existence.
Yeah, I know a guy here in Texas who with a multiple personality disorder. And he's
please don't call me out on the air.
But I asked him about it, and he's just when it happens, he's like, you just slip into it. But there's almost this secondary thing where when you slip into one personality, your sort of primary you is observing it happening, and he's able to the way he described it, he can kind of quiet those personalities down until they sort of like pass through, as if they were like a person who came into the room.
That's interesting as
and
fuck.
then would get up and leave the room when they were ready to leave the room. But he's able to kind of like almost mute them. And like, this is a guy I would see like all the time. And like, I didn't know for like the first like few months I knew him. And then we just started talking one time. And
so with something like BPD, the borderline personality disorder, that's one that I'm a little bit more familiar with than histrionic personality disorder. With BPD, your emotional regulation is extremely difficult. And there's somebody that I was talking, I don't want to call him out on the air, but there's somebody that I was talking to very, very recently who's going through this and that was explaining it to me at length, which was extremely interesting. And it sounds so fucking difficult to deal with, because it's like your emotional regulation is practically non-existent, where you go from there's very few steps in between you being stable and you flying off the handle. And it's for somebody who's dealing with that, it's hard for them to recognize the differences between those two steps. So personality disorders, like I've been doing a lot of research about those lately, and to me they're very, very scary. Very scary in terms of dealing with somebody that has them, or having one yourself.
Which one do you have?
I have no idea. I've honestly been trying to figure out like what I'm closest to, because I imagine that I do have one of them. But that's the thing. No, like I'm being completely honest.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing is, with some of them, if you self-identify with it, then it takes you out of that group. Like from the research that I've been doing with NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, if you have the presence of mind to actually try and figure out whether or not you have it, then that kind of takes you out of the group. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's like,
depends on your level of intelligence too, though, right? Like
well, that's the thing. Like I don't know.
A lot of personality people with disorders are fucking retarded.
But what about multiple personalities? Like, that seems like...
I'm not sure if that's actually a real thing, though. Multiple personality disorder, like where people have, like the movie Split with what's his name, McAvoy?
Yeah. But that's the thing, is the guy I know says he has 4 different personalities, and it's like he just has a handle on it.
You had that when you were a kid.
But he's medicated...
No, I was pretending when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That's what you told yourself.
That's what one of my personalities told me.
Yeah.
And I believed him, because I trust them. They've always pointed me in the right direction, obviously.
What if that's what Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, Tooth Fairy, that's how they originated? They originated as somebody's...
Santa Claus,
one of their
Tooth
personalities.
Fairy, and the Easter Bunny were all one person. They just had split personalities.
They're just a psychopath.
And none of
They're
us
a furry
exist.
psychopath.
We all exist in the mind of, some fictitious cryptozoological creatures that bring you gifts.
They
and
all
chocolate.
exist in the mind of a retarded kid with the snow globe.
Yeah, but the snow globe is the world.
Amazing. Yeah.
We should
that was pretty cool. You came up with that just on the fly.
We should be stoned right now.
You must be pretty intelligent. Maybe you're not multiple personality disorder guy.
No, I've just been sitting here drinking, waiting for Jack's show to end so we could do this show.
I don't know if
the CPU's in there on that process.
I'm not completely convinced that I'm not an expert, but I'm not completely convinced that multiple personality disorder actually exists. I think that it's like a symptom of some other trauma. I feel like
you hear
it's
that cricket?
I do.
I saw the cricket earlier today. I saw it. It's fucking huge.
It sounds.
I thought it was a cockroach. I knew this was gonna fucking happen. I fucking knew it.
Why didn't you kill it?
Step on it. I was gonna kill it, but I I was like, you know what?
He's like,
it's
"Kill
not
me,
a
I'm
cockroach.
here."
Yeah. It's not a cockroach. I'm gonna let it go. And now it's fucking in here yelling,
Rubbing
Yeah.
its legs together.
and it's loud. We can hear it now.
I'm sure we can. It's loud as fuck. Is that a golden cricket?
It was about the size of a cockroach at the apartment.
I found one like that earlier today in my apartment.
Wait, do we have to? I think we have to hunt this fucking thing down. Hold on, let me get the headphones on.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's loud enough that it's going to be distracting.
How many pages left?
About
18.
2.
Okay, quiet. It's picking up. I can see it.
You
on
can
the
see the
fucking
levels.
Is it mic'd?
think-
It stopped.
Who put a lavalier on that fucking cricket?
Okay, it stopped.
That's a very polite cricket.
It got self-conscious. I'm sorry, guys. I was stopped.
Well, I can't do it if everybody's watching me.
All right, keep going.
All right, so we were talking about Joe DiMaggio and Marilyn Monroe, and them getting in heated arguments and the way that their relationship was extremely toxic. Joe DiMaggio. So from what I was reading, Joe DiMaggio definitely had some anger issues and he had some jealousy issues. His relationship with Marilyn Monroe did not. It meshed well in terms of it being very intense, but not a healthy relationship, because she was very big into getting attention. She didn't have a whole lot of loyalty to any of the guys that she had relationships with, and it turned into a toxic shitstorm. But it was also very strong in terms of their connection, mostly on Joe DiMaggio's end. Like when Joe DiMaggio fell in love with Marilyn Monroe, he never loved any other woman for the rest of his life.
Damn.
But it was not a relationship that was going to last.
It was real love, but it was fucking.
It was fucked up.
Awful for them.
Yeah, very fucked up. It was a match made in hell.
That's love, though.
No, it's not.
That's-
Not for everybody.
Hey, from my experience, it is. All right? So you shut your goddamn mouth.
It is.
Sometimes there's love that
it's on a
doesn't
s-
have
it's-
toxic stuff in it.
Bullshit.
No, that's
Bullshit.
Not,
No, my parents have a really good relationship. In 1956, Monroe married playwright Arthur Miller, the famed author of Death of a Salesman and The Crucible. Didn't
The Iron Crucible.
Dick Tracy, what's his name? Warren Beatty? He was
Warren
in
G.
The Crucible.
No,
Yeah,
it's
Warren G.
Yeah,
Warren
that's
G
what
was
it
in The
was.
Crucible, right?
And the what is it? Warren G. and the
This DJB Warren G.
213, which was Snoop Dogg, Nate Dogg, and Warren G.
Her relationship with Miller didn't stop her from still banging her co-stars like Marlon Brando and Tony Curtis, but
Warren
this
G,
marriage
Tupac.
at least lasted longer than the average lifespan of a hamster in an elementary school classroom, which her previous marriages did not.
I thought Marlon Brando was a gay.
Apparently it was, well, maybe Marilyn
Any
Monroe
Portnoy
was
Storm.
a beard.
Not that gay.
Not that gay.
Brando, any port in a storm for Brando.
Marlon Brando seems like the type of guy that would fuck anything. He seems like the type of guy that would look in a mirror and jack off.
Yeah.
Well, Brando in the 50s, like, nice.
He was like back in Marlon Brando's heyday before he got fat and lazy and
That's like Henry
kind of
Cavill
obnoxious.
now.
Cool. Even then,
Well,
he was still cool.
Oh, he was still cool as fuck. Like even Island of Dr. Moreau, Marlon Brando, he was still the best actor in that whole fucking film. Like he didn't even have to try. Like
Michael Jackson music video, Marlon Brando.
he was in a Michael Jackson music video.
It's the last thing he did before he died. Wait, have
Oh.
you guys not seen it?
God, that poor bastard.
No, it's awesome. It's with Chris Tucker, Michael Jackson, and Marlon Brando.
Wait,
This isn't
Marlon
convincing
Brando
me.
and Chris Tucker
They made it's like a sequel to
in a Michael Jackson music video?
Yeah,
Island
it's
of
a
Dr.
sequel
Moreau.
to it's a sequel to Smooth Criminal.
I don't want to see that.
What the
No, it's
fuck?
actually fucking good.
No, I don't want to see that.
Yeah, and
I
homie
watched
that
this-
just died too.
this YouTube
There's like two
channel
other gangsters in it.
Where this
They're in it.
guy, this like engineer guy, will get like the mix from like a song, and break down every single thing that's in that song. And he broke down Smooth Criminal, and it's like the most amazing fucking shit. There's so many different things going on in that fucking song. It's
But does it
psychotic.
have Chris Tucker and Marlon Brando and Michael Jackson in it?
It also
it does have
has
Michael Jackson, but-
Rorschach in it, the guy that played Rorschach.
Rorschach, the hardcore band?
What?
From the
Lou Perillo?
George Miller movie.
Rorschach from Welcome Back, Kotter?
No, Rorschach, the superhero.
Oh.
No, from
I'm thinking of Horseshack from Welcome Back, Kotter.
Watchmen.
And then also
he was in
Ray
Jason
Liotta's
Lives.
in it too.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't
Dad,
know.
dude, it was a big deal.
I am so confused right
They
now.
did a
There's
whole
a
thing- it's
there's
like
a
a 10
Mike.
it's like
hang on.
15
There's a
minutes
Michael
long.
Jackson music video
Yes.
that has Marlon Brando,
Yes.
Chris Tucker,
Yes.
that ginger that
Michael
plays
Jackson.
Rorschach.
Yes. And Michael Jackson's in it.
Rorschach, you mean,
Rorschach.
he was in fucking
He played the new Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, he was Freddy Krueger.
Jackie Earl Haley.
Yes.
He was in the original.
We're gonna
Bad
watch
News
this
Bears.
after. It's
He was in
awesome.
the sequel to Bad News Bears, where William Devane is their baseball coach.
I am so fucking confused by this music video.
I can't believe I never showed you it because it was like
I can't believe I never heard of it.
it was the last good thing that Michael Jackson did before he made the weird albums that were really bad.
Yeah, well, let's be honest. The last good thing that Michael Jackson did was Macaulay Culkin.
They never got to fuck. I feel bad for them. They were both gay and they never really got to.
Unrequited love.
Yeah, because Michael died before he turned 18.
That means he's done videos
Matters.
with two actors from Goodfellas. He did Moonwalker
Yeah, it's
with
awesome.
Joe Pesci and Ray Liotta. That's
Yes.
What the fuck?
Yeah, Michael loved those gangster movies.
and Marlon Brando was in The Godfather. That's impressive.
Well, speaking of somebody else that went into a downward spiral,
Can we watch that music video after this? Put it on the big screen before you guys leave.
I don't think that anybody's going to stop us.
Okay. Well, you guys want to leave as soon as we're done, probably.
I like
but
to
if
see
you want
someone
to
try to
stay,
stop us.
it's long. It's like old school Michael Jackson shit. It's like a 20-minute music video, with the dialogue scenes and Michael Jackson's hanging out with Chris Tucker and they're getting fucking noodles and shit, and then they see a hot chick and they're like, "All right, we got to go to that bar."
Molesting children, hanging
Chris
out with
Tucker's like,
chimpanzees.
"Nah, there's gangsters in there, dude. You can't go in there." And he's like, "Come on, we can't go in there." And then Michael's like, "No, but she's so hot."
That's the worst impression of
What is-
Chris Tucker. You didn't even try.
No,
Is
I-
this,
no, he said no. It's Chris Tucker making fun of the entire dialogue. Is everything that Chris Tucker says is the title of a song that Michael Jackson made
is
the
this
whole time.
Is
It's
this
great.
where they got the idea for Rush Hour and they just replaced Michael Jackson
This
with
is after
Jackie
Rush
Chan?
Hour.
They ripped off Rush Hour
It was
for a
after the
Michael
hype-
Jackson music video?
No, Chris Tucker got to be in a Michael Jackson video because he made Rush Hour.
No, Michael Jackson got Chris Tucker to be in his
No.
music video.
All those boys, all those gangsters, all those actors, all wanted to be in it. Even Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando's a huge Michael Jackson fan.
What the fuck? All right. Well, anyway, Marilyn's downward spiral began in earnest as her career really began to take off. In the mid to late 50s, she began using a combination of barbiturates. Okay, I've always thought that it was barbiturates. It's
R.
barbiturates.
Bar? With the B? Barchichi.
Barbiturates. I think that's how you're supposed to pronounce it.
Barbara
Anyway,
Streisand. Barbara Streisand's.
downers, amphetamines, and opioids to cope with her fast-paced lifestyle, and this landed her in the hospital in 1957 when she overdosed on pills after suffering a miscarriage. It was a miscarriage of the child that she conceived with Arthur Miller, the playwright, which
Was he
really,
a good man?
I mean,
Did she
yeah,
ever have like a good relationship? Fuck.
I think her best relationship was with Arthur Miller.
Okay.
I mean,
And it wasn't that good.
no, it was good on his end. She cheated on him a bunch, but it lasted longer than her other marriages.
So Arthur Miller was just
Was she-
blowing loads and fucking Marilyn Monroe.
Is it a-
Yeah.
But all these other dudes were just pulling out and turning off her hair.
At least
Was
I think that it was his child that she
She was a
miscarried. She
cheater?
was married to him at the time.
She was really cheating all the
Okay.
time and stuff. It's not just a joke. Like she was just kind of. fucking everybody.
Yeah. She cheated on every one of her husbands with. So it was not only other actors, like other famous actors, but even like members of the set. She hooked up, like I was saying earlier, she hooked
Whoever
up with one of
sparked
the
her interest.
set photographers. Yeah, she would. She was Marilyn Monroe. She had complete freedom to bang literally anybody that she wanted. She had her pick of damn near any man on the planet.
Done it. I don't really give a shit about super hot chicks, but the way she has that thickness.
Oh,
I don't know. Like, I feel like as time goes on, Marilyn Monroe was like Aaliyah or Anna Nicole Smith. Like, she was just a fucking hype job.
If I had the opportunity,
like whoever owns the licensing to her likeness is because we're way too young. We're too young to have experienced anything.
What the vibe was.
When she dies, 62.
Yeah, I believe so.
Because that's in the Misfits song, "Who Killed Marilyn." That's the opening line. Is 5/25, August 5th, 1962.
Oh yeah.
and yeah.
Yep.
So 62.
I bet you they got permission half of this.
I think it's like Bob Marley or anyone, like, where there's like whoever owns the likeness has just been like continuously making money and selling her shit to whoever who will do a movie or a book or a story to it, and that's just like people are just like, oh, it's Marilyn Monroe, and it's like people are just like, bitch, like that bitch wasn't shit, like fucking, Marlon Brando, that motherfucker was doing some real shit. Joan Crawford was doing some real shit. Shirley Temple was doing some real shit. Marilyn Monroe wasn't doing shit.
I think that
I think James Dean is sort of on that level, but I think he's a little closer to
James Dean's like
River
Marilyn
Phoenix, where he had
a lot of promise and died too young.
He had promise, but Marilyn Monroe, it's not like she was gonna just
change the world.
Be 40 and knock out some amazing fucking role. You know what I mean?
So
like,
Marilyn Monroe, she in my opinion, she is so overhyped for her talent because she was essentially. She was famous because she had such a unique look and she was marketed in the right way. Like, she was one of the original blonde bombshells. And
it'd be like if Paris Hilton died in like 2004.
She invented blonde bombshells.
Yeah, like pretty much, like she is the one.
She invented blonde shells.
Yeah, she invented Bond Blomshells.
Bond Blomshells.
Bond Blomshells, the guy who directed District 9.
Yeah.
It's Neil Blomkamp.
Oh, sorry. I get them mixed up all the time.
Camp where only Blomshells can go.
Charlotte
But
Tally Bombshell.
So you could look at Marilyn Monroe as being the acting equivalent of Black Sabbath. Like, Black Sabbath originated heavy metal, and like that made them super famous and influential, and a bunch of people were emulating them.
But they kind of
Marilyn Monroe did the same thing, where she was the original blonde bombshell that got super famous, and now to this day, like if you look at like Margot Robbie, Paris Hilton, Anna Nicole Smith, Pamela Anderson, they're all, to a certain degree, they're emulating a style that originated with Marilyn Monroe, and that's what was unique about Marilyn Monroe, is she was one of the originals. She was the first one to gain that much notoriety. It had nothing to do with her talent, because she was not a good actress. She spent so much time.
Maybe her talent was sucking D. And it was.
Oh no, it was. We covered that earlier in the episode.
So it was because of her talent. Her sexual talents made her the most famous person ever.
She was a throat goat, and that's
what made her famous.
Actually, no, I don't want to.
She got all those roles, even though she couldn't act. She got to be in the front line. She did everything. She got to be at the very front of everything because she fucked everybody.
I don't want to entirely minimize her to just being somebody who sucked a lot of dick, which objectively she did.
She fucked the president. That's badass.
Yeah, she fucked the president. That's
know what's
awesome.
Interesting though? If you think about like who are your favorite porn actresses of all time or actors, not blonde.
Oh yeah, none of my favorites are blonde.
I can't really, like, I'm like thinking like top 5, top 10. I'm like, no, brunettes.
I was never
entirely
into
online.
Jenna Jameson or anything like that.
No,
I liked Pamela, but she wasn't really a porn star.
I was never into Pamela Anderson either.
Dude, no, I loved Pamela.
like first season of
18
Baywatch.
Pamela?
Cindy Crawford.
When I was
Cindy
14?
Crawford.
Cindy
I was
Crawford now,
Dude, even now, yeah. I was
still
obsessed with Cindy Crawford when I was
and
growing
of course
up.
her daughter, who has like
But she's not blonde.
she's not.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm
It's like
saying.
dirty.
Like,
Well, that's like a dirty blonde. That's like a mixture.
oh,
between-
she's a dirty blonde.
It's like blonde brunette mix.
So overall, Marilyn Monroe, the reason that she became so famous is because she was groundbreaking in terms of her look, her sex appeal. Like, she was marketed on a large scale as a sex object, and she did it very, very well.
She was hot, dude.
But yeah, she was. See, even Marilyn Monroe, I'm not that attracted to her. I don't think that she's unattractive, but I don't look at her and be like, oh yeah, that's what I want. Like, I look at Salma Hayek, I'm like, whoo, yeah.
Yeah, from
But-
Dusk
but
Till
for-
Dawn.
out of the
son.
blondes, though.
yeah.
Out of the blondes.
Out of the blondes, I think
Like, she's hotter than fucking Margot Robbie for sure.
No.
Margot Robbie's
No,
like a stick
not
with
at
nothing.
all.
No, Margot Robbie's not hot.
Margot Robbie is
It's the same shit. It's fake.
In
it's
terms of-
processed.
in terms
it's
of
Hollywood
blondes,
tricking you, dude.
in terms of blondes, I would say that Margot Robbie is the most attractive blonde out there.
Watch Hot Ones with Margot Robbie, and your entire life will be ruined. Okay, never mind. Don't watch it because you'll see who she really is, and she sucks.
Who's
Dick.
fucking?
But not in the good way. Like she's just
my
sucks.
memory's bad from drinking for years. Black Widow. What's her name? What's her name?
Oh yeah.
All of our brains are destroyed from alcoholism.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, we're fucking ourselves up. No, it's,
I saw her in but I can remember
Joaquin
Match
Phoenix.
Point.
Joaquin Phoenix. Yes,
I remember her in Match Point.
I'll look her up right now.
And I just remember seeing that movie, and that movie's kind of fucked up. If you ever seen Match Point,
Match Point. No,
and I was like, that is like probably the hottest blonde I've ever seen, ever.
Oh, I forgot about Natasha.
When she was young. She was
Natasha Henstridge from Species. I think that she outclasses Margot Robbie in her heyday, in my opinion.
I mean, if Margot Robbie did a bunch of
Robbie's never been
sci-fi
hot to me.
films in the 90s,
I'm also partial towards Natasha Henstridge because one of my ex-girlfriends looked a lot like her, and I was really into her.
I was really into
Scarlett
7 of
Johansson.
9.
Scarlett Johansson.
on Voyager.
Oh, Jerry Ryan.
Not so much now, but then, yeah.
Back then, yeah, that came around during my formative years.
And they introduced 7 of 9 in like season 5. They're like, we need to
sex this
ungay
up a
this
bit.
fucking nerd shit up a little bit. Brought in 7 of 9.
Have you seen Lost in Translation, Adam?
Yeah.
I like that movie. She's hot in that.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
She's underage though, so you can't jerk off to it.
She is?
yeah,
No,
try and
she's
stop
not.
me.
Yeah, she is.
Oh, too late.
Yeah, she was
Hello.
17 when they shot that. She was 18 by the time it came
I
out.
like how we still can't remember what her name is.
Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson.
I don't know, Scarlett, like Under the Skin, if you ever seen that, where she plays an alien. It's basically Starman. If Starman was like,
Species.
it's like Species, but it's more like this weird kind of ethereal thing going on. But
It's like Species if it wasn't a like Cinemax softcore porn.
yeah, Under the Skin. I would recommend that to anybody who's like into
Under the
Marvel
Skin.
movies. If you're into Black Widow, watch Match Point, and
If you're into
Under
Black
the
Widow and
Skin.
you want to jerk off, watch Under the Skin.
Yeah, actually. Because she's like stalking men in a van.
What kind of sexual fantasy is that? You got Scarlett Johansson
Driving around in a
playing
van.
the role of a sexual predator, just driving around in a van, picking up
Right
random
here, I'm
dudes.
gonna read
like,
the
hey,
I'm gonna
kid.
read the thing for it. Under the Skin is a 2013 science fiction film directed by Jonathan Glazer and written by Glazer and Walter Campbell, loosely based on the two. This isn't a fucking thing. This is just saying about the thing.
Thank
She plays
you defined
Scarlett.
a noun.
Scarlett Johansson is
Not
an
really.
otherworldly woman who preys on men in Scotland.
Yeah.
That's all it says about the movie. Everything else is just credits.
Yeah, that's right. No spoilers. Kayfabe.
No substance.
But when they shot those scenes of her in the creepy van, it was literally like camera mounted in the van.
And
And
it
she would just roll up on regular guys walking down the street.
Random ass dudes, yeah.
Like, hey, you want to get in my van? And they're like, why? And she's like, get in the van. And it's like just Scarlett Johansson telling you to get into a van.
She's raping people?
I've got a story about this. Not about Scarlett Johansson, but about a very similar, roughly similar situation where I got the old honeypot when I was like, I must have been 15, 16 years old or something like that. So I'm walking over to my friend's house during high school, and all of a sudden this convertible car pulls up next to me with this amazingly gorgeous brunette sitting in the passenger seat. And there's some dude with like, spiky bleach blonde hair in the driver's seat, and she pulls up, they pull up next to me, and she's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm walking to my friend's house. She's like, hey, you want to smoke some weed? I was like, well, fuck yeah, I want to smoke some weed. I'm going to my friend's house to smoke weed right now. I'd rather smoke weed with you. So me having no concept of stranger danger, I get in the car with these two random people, and we drive off into this secluded area and smoke weed. And the whole time, this amazingly gorgeous brunette is like flirting with me and be like, oh, you're so cool. We're having such a good time. Here, I'm going to give you my number. And I'm not even paying attention to the fact that there's just obviously this dude driving the car that's her boyfriend. Yeah. Like, oh, yeah, this chick's totally into me. She's like, oh, so you like smoking weed a lot, right? I was like, oh, yeah, I love smoking weed. I'm cool as shit. She's like, you know what? Anytime you want to smoke weed, just give me a call and we'll smoke weed together. The number that she gave me was her boyfriend's number, who was a drug dealer. And then he became my drug dealer. So it was kind of a win-win situation.
It worked?
No, it totally worked. I bought weed from that guy for like a solid 2 years after that.
Did you ever get to bang her?
No, but the drummer in my band ended up banging her. Like 3 years later, after No shit. Yeah, it was one of those strange serendipitous things. Yeah, you remember Gary?
Gary, I remember Gary.
Yeah,
I know Gary.
Once Gary lost all the weight and got hot, he ended up running into her because
Gary, I think, banged my ex-girlfriend.
I would not be surprised because Gary banged literally everything after he started working out.
Wait, I got the real definition.
I wasn't done with my story yet. Okay. So it turns out this girl was the older sister of like the hottest chick that we went to high school with.
Like, did I know her?
Her name was Ashley something. I don't remember her last name. She wasn't part of our circle of friends. Yeah. Her younger sister was loosely associated with our circle of friends.
What do you mean
but that
loosely?
was just because Gary fucked both of them.
Yeah, I remember one of Gary's girlfriends like jerked me off in a hot tub.
Really? Which one?
At her house while he was there.
Was Gary's the half Mexican dude, right?
No, that was a guitarist. His name was Dave. He was full Mexican.
He was totally Mexican. He had a tattoo of a crucified Jesus.
He didn't have an accent.
Oh, yeah. So that makes him, that's technically half Mexican if you don't have the accent.
Under the Skin, the 2013 science fiction
So Under the Skin shows how the mysterious alien slowly begins to understand human psychology through her experiences and her interactions. Her specific perspective is that of an immigrant and a woman. She faces xenophobia, toxic masculinity, and cultural resistance, and begins to understand the darker side of humanity.
Who wrote that gay shit?
This is the movie that fucking Adam is recommending for us to watch.
I didn't write that. That's not what it's about.
He didn't write that. I liked it better when it was described.
I'll give you a better definition because I'm a professional movie reviewer. Scarlett Johansson's an alien, and she needs to absorb human beings, and that's up to interpretation. Does she absorb their soul? Does she eat them? You don't really know. But she basically picks up dudes in a van, takes them to what Stranger Things, the Upside Down, ripped off Under the Skin. Under the Skin came out way before Stranger Things. So she'd be like, let's
why all
fuck.
Those kids were fucking all the time.
And then all of a sudden she would just be like, okay, once you're in my grasp, I can fucking like put you into the fucking Upside Down. So it's like black void with like a wet floor, you know what I mean? Then the guys would fucking like go into a trance, and then they would start walking towards her. She's like, come here, let's fuck. And they would walk towards her, and they would just kind of do the, when you walk behind a couch and it looks like you're walking down some stairs and do it.
I've seen some of the behind.
It's like that. The guys walk into the water and then they vanish, and she like absorbs their fucking like life force or some shit.
There it comes.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that is a very solid metaphor from my last relationship.
Until some guy like beats her to death in the woods with a fucking stick.
Holy shit! That's not just a metaphor of my last
off.
relationship. Like that is a synopsis of my last relationship. Anyway,
it's called Under the Coop.
Monroe.
Under the coop downtown. It's where I fucked his butt. Under the coop down. Okay, sorry.
Monroe's downward spiral began in earnest as her career really began to take off. In the mid to late 50s, she began using a combination of barbiturates, amphetamines, and opioids to cope with her fast-paced lifestyle. This landed her in the hospital in 1957 when she overdosed on pills after suffering a miscarriage from Arthur Miller's child, as I was saying before. So she had endometriosis, I believe it's called, where it's like had a rough approximation. She had a fucked up uterus. She had an inside-out pussy.
Ooh, that must be
Her
awesome.
pussy was painted with barbiturates. And
Does that make it like more fun?
Apparently, people enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I've never fucked Marilyn Monroe, unfortunately. Already a difficult and demanding actress to work with, her drug use only exacerbated her on-set issues, causing her co-stars and film crew to hate working with her. And this, I like this quote from Tony Curtis. Tony Curtis famously stated that he disliked working with her so much on the set of Some Like It Hot that kissing her was, quote, like kissing Hitler. Tony Curtis fucked her, by the way.
I thought he was a gay.
Only.
I mean, he wasn't Spartacus.
You got to be super gay to not hook up with Marilyn Monroe in her heyday.
Yeah, like, even if I was gay, I would still bang Marilyn.
I don't know. Did you see
Marilyn
Tony
Monroe.
Curtis in Spartacus?
That's real gay. That's as gay as 8 guys blowing 9 guys.
That's hot.
I stole that quote from you. I saw that on one of your social media accounts years and years ago, and it made me laugh so fucking hard.
And that's a Patton Oswalt quote.
Holy shit, that's 2 levels of stealing material.
That's gay, dude.
By all accounts, Arthur Miller was a decent enough husband. This didn't stop his boner-craving wife from cheating on him multiple times on nearly every film she worked on during their marriage. During the filming of Let's Make Love, which Arthur Miller helped write...
What was that about?
I think that it was about a platonic relationship.
Arthur Miller, he wrote The Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah, J.R.R. Arthur Miller. So Arthur Miller actually rewrote the script of Let's Make Love to give Marilyn a better script to work with. And then she fucked her co-star, Yves Yves Montan. I don't know. I think he's some Brazilian dude.
It's just pronounced Eve.
Yves Montan.
Like Yves Saint Laurent.
Okay, so she fucked Yves Saint Montan. Following Let's Make Love, Miller wrote a film specifically for Monroe called The Misfits.
The band?
Yeah,
they're all in a punk band from New Jersey.
That's where Glenn Danzig got his start. He was Marilyn Monroe's stunt double.
She had like a hairy chest.
So Arthur Miller wrote a film specifically for Monroe called The Misfits, which gave her the opportunity to display her skills as a dramatic actress, as well as fucking Clark Gable. And the set photographer, Ing Morath. And this finally put an end to their marriage. The couple divorced in 1961, and Monroe's star began to fade. The Misfits was her last completed feature film.
Clark Gable. Would you say that her marriage was gone with the wind?
Oh man, I was trying to think of a good Gone with the Wind quote to go with after that. Like, look, I know you may not regret fucking me today or tomorrow, but soon. I don't know, something like that.
That's Bogart.
Oh, that's Bogart. Fuck. Surprisingly enough,
Your cunt might not add up to a hill of beans in this crazy world.
Frankly, madam, I don't give a damn if you're married. At this point...
Frankly, madam, I don't give a damn about your endometriosis and your cunt.
Frankly, madam, I don't give a damn about your inside-out pussy. God damn it.
I was just going to say that. Well done.
Remember that from that movie? I remember that. It was in the AFI top 100 film scenes of all time.
At this point, Monroe was already suffering. Jesus Christ. Oh, I want to keep going with that.
Don't give a damn about your inside out vagina.
Could you picture that on like A&E's, like just top AFI
How
most
dare you
memorable
say this.
scenes? It's like the why don't you scoop up some of this chum from like Jaws and offer he can't refuse from Godfather, and then your inside out cunt scene.
We're gonna need a bigger diaphragm.
We're gonna need a bigger cunt.
Wait, no, I want to go with this for a minute. What are some other famous movie quotes that we can attribute to Marilyn Monroe's
To Marilyn
sexual
Monroe's
career?
specifically.
Let's see. All right, but most famous movie quotes adapted to Marilyn Monroe fucking literally everybody.
You can't handle my cunt.
My CPU is an inside out vagina. I was supposed to say cunt. Inside out cunt.
You tell him I'm coming. And Marilyn's coming with me. Oh no, I want to keep going with this. What else? Oh, most famous movie quotes.
I'll be your inside out Huckleberry.
I drink your cunt.
Inside out cunt.
I drink it up.
The cunt abides. Oh man,
It's so stupid.
so dumb, but I love it.
Go ahead, make my cunt.
It's got to be inside out cunt though, right?
Go ahead, make my inside out cunt.
Tell me, do you feel cunty? Did I shoot 5 loads or 6?
One inside out cunt to rule them all.
Oh Jesus! All right. So going from that lighthearted moment at
She
this
had an
point,
inside out vagina.
no, inside out uterus.
Oh. What's the? Never mind.
Don't ask that question while it's being recorded. You can ask after the show, so it's not embarrassing.
What's a uterus? Isn't that a vagina?
Uterus was a character in the television show Good Times.
Dynamite.
Yeah, it was J.J. Walker's niece.
Street name. They call me Lil Uterus.
Yeah.
You gotta illustrate. You have to ask yourself one thing: do you have an inside out cunt? That's not good. That was not good.
You stole fizzy lifting cunts. You bumped into the cervix, which now needs to be washed and sterilized, so you get nothing. You lose. Good day, Joe DiMaggio. Do you remember that?
Yes.
1971 film, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Cunt.
Country. 900 men went into that cunt. Oh, when the 100 came out.
I wish we had that whole.
I wish I had that quote.
You
Nope.
read that quote
Stand by,
before.
Joel. Are you willing to cut this out so I can just?
No, just look it up and we'll. It's just gonna be all left in.
She had a tiny cunt, chief, like a doll's cunt.
Okay, I am going to do my very best to do this on the fly and adapt this to Marilyn Monroe.
All right, here we go.
Stand by.
We're already at 2 hours, so if I have the time, I'll do a slow push with music while you do this, but I probably won't.
All right, here we go. This is the speech from Quint from Jaws. Quint from Jaws. Japanese submarine slammed 2 torpedoes into the side of her cunt, chief.
Stupid.
We was coming back from the island Tianan too late. We just delivered the bomb, the Hiroshima bomb, to her cunt.
Uterus was inside out.
1,100 men went into her cunt. Vessel went down in 12 minutes. Didn't see the first cunt for about half hour. Tiger, 13-footer. You know how you know that in the water, Chief? You can tell by looking from the taint to the clitoris. What we didn't know was that our bomb mission was so secret, no distress signal had been sent. They didn't even list us.
You got that. You got them city labias.
What we didn't know is that it was inside out.
What we didn't know was that cunt was inside out. Didn't even notice that our period was late for a week. Very first light, Chief. Cunts come cruising by, so we formed ourselves into tight groups. It was sort of like you see in the calendars, you know. Cunt squares in the old calendars, like the Battle of Waterloo. The idea was, cunt come to the nearest man. That man, he starts pounding and hollering, and sometimes he comes. But sometimes he doesn't come. Sometimes that cunt looks right at you. Right into your brown eye. The thing about a cunt, he's got lifeless black eyes. Lips. Lifeless black lips. Like pussy lips. When he comes, he doesn't even seem to be living. Until he shoots ropes across you. And those black eyes roll back over white, and then, you got that wet shit all over your face, and you hear that high-pitched, terrible screaming. The ocean turns white, and despite all your pounding and hollering and thinking of baseball, that cunt comes and rips you to pieces. You know, by the end of that first dawn, lost 100 men. I don't know how many sharks. I don't know how many cunts there were. Maybe 1,000.
Fucked 100 men.
I do know how many men. Monroe averaged 6 an hour. That beats out John Wayne's record for smoking cigarettes. Thursday morning, Chief, I bumped into a friend of mine, Herbie Robinson from Cleveland. Baseball player. Boston's mate. Or no, Bosun's mate. Thought he was asleep. I reached over to wake him up. He bobbed up and down in the water. Kind of like a top. Upended. Well, below the waist, he was a cunt.
Hey, I don't need this working class cunt routine. I'm doing the Dreyfus.
All right, back to Marilyn Monroe. Another cunt.
Right.
So at this point, Marilyn Monroe was already suffering from multiple medical problems. The miscarriage she had previously experienced was due to an ectopic pregnancy caused by a painful condition called endometriosis. So the ectopic pregnancy is where the egg implants itself outside of the womb, and that's because she has an inside-out vagina. Monroe underwent so that's actually partially accurate. I'm paraphrasing. Monroe underwent surgery to treat her jacked-up uterus in early 1961 before being institutionalized due to increasing mental health issues. After spending 4 weeks in the hospital, her old flame, Joe DiMaggio, came to save the day. Joe checked her out of the hospital and nursed her back to health. So she started fucking his buddy, Frank Sinatra.
Nice. Were you watching porn just now?
Yes.
Nice.
Why do you even have to ask?
I should have known.
Yeah.
Usually
And
he
Joey
is.
Bishop, and they were both in the Rat Pack.
She fucked Joey Bishop, too?
Yeah.
Bishop from Aliens?
Did she fuck Lance
Henriksen?
Hendricks? Yeah.
Yeah, she fucked Lance Henriksen as
Come on.
an
Don't
android.
bullshit me.
I prefer artificial person myself.
Wait, so with an android, if the blood's red, does that mean the cum's...
He put his
or
hand
if the
over a
blood's
cunt
white,
and with
does
a
that mean the
knife. He
cum's
went like
red?
this.
He's using a dildo. Oh, God. All right. In 1962...
Just imagine that exact shot with fucking Bill Paxton be like, oh, and there's just a dildo slamming around.
Hey,
his
Bishop,
fingers.
quit screwing around, man.
I was picturing the scene where right when they get back to the Sulaco and
Sulaco,
Bishop thinks
yeah.
everything's safe, except it's Marilyn Monroe, and all of a sudden she just sprays a bunch of jizz out of her mouth when she gets stabbed with the penis through the chest.
Hey,
That's pretty hot.
Hey, Monroe, does anyone ever confuse you for a cunt? Does anyone ever confuse you as a man? Oh, sick. High five.
That line is so fucking good. Like, hey, does anybody ever confuse you for a man? Like, no, do you or something like that?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
it's John Connor's foster mother.
It's a good line, Coop. Okay, go ahead.
Don't kill the vibe like that. All right, anyway, so
I was on point and I switched to all three of us. Well, we all just stared at each other, so it worked.
Which, by the way, tune into the Iconoblast podcast channel on YouTube if you want to see the visuals of this, which has been
visuals are hot tonight. Oh, Jesus. Oh,
there we go. There's the Adam that I know and love.
This is not common podcast.
I'm just reminding everybody that Conman is still alive out there in the ether.
Not common podcast. We don't.
That's not
in the mist, in the vapor.
Is that not the swan song of the Conman podcast?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what's
wrong show, bro.
All right, so in 1962, Monroe once again returned to Tinseltown to begin work on her next film, Something's Gotta Give. Hooking up with the most famous crooners in the world wasn't cutting it for her, so she started banging two members of the most powerful family in the world, John and Robert Kennedy. It was at this time that she famously sang Happy Birthday, Mr. President to JFK during a celebration at Madison Square Garden, right in front of the First Lady, Jacqueline Onassis. She literally had no shame. Like, she's fucking Jackie O's husband. She's wearing the skin-tight dress and just super sensually and sexually sings Happy Birthday, Mr. President.
That's hot, though.
To JFK. Oh, it's hot as fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, thinking about that in modern terms, that would be insane.
That would be like...
If that happened to Obama...
No, that was
I was going to say, that would be like Kim Kardashian...
Or like Beyonce singing to Obama, and people were like, I think Obama's fucking Beyonce.
It would be like Kim Kardashian giving
insane.
Barack Obama a lap dance in front of Michelle.
I think,
and Michelle would have a boner too.
It happened then.
It is more insane that it happened then.
Now,
they were way more conservative.
Now people are like, "Oh, that's cute." It's like, no, if that should happen now, it would be a fucking
badass.
Yeah, it'd
be like, oh, this is much more tame than anything that Cardi B does.
Yeah,
that shit was gangster, dude.
Oh yeah, dude, fucking JFK was a poon hound. Holy shit. We're going to do an episode on him. I'm not even going to focus on him being assassinated because that's like the most boring part of his life.
What?
Oh, fuck, dude. I'm sorry. JFK died.
We lost Jack?
No. It's all conspiracy, dude.
Okay, good.
Once again, this is not the Comment Podcast.
I want to do an episode specifically about JFK fucking anything that moves.
I'll fuck anything that moves.
Let's fuck!
Something's Gotta Give was canceled by Fox in 1962 due to a ballooning budget, which was largely caused by Monroe's struggles with her health and drug addiction. On June 7th, Fox executives gave Monroe the boot and sued her for $75,000 in damages because she was causing so many issues to the production that they were just like, look, you're wasting all this money for us. Fuck you. Pay us $75,000. We're going to recast the role with somebody else, and you can go not just fuck yourself, but fuck whatever executive you're going to be fucking next to get your next job.
Damn, she took it too far.
The stress of her failing career pushed Marilyn further into depression and drug abuse, making a comeback all but impossible. Fuck.
I think the coming on the bag was possible.
That was the only thing keeping her in business at that point. Despite her career tanking and her severe depression, Joe DiMaggio was still madly in love with Marilyn.
Aww.
On August 1st...
He's a cunt.
Don't you love her madly?
He was a cunt, right?
He was physically abusive and verbally abusive. They had a very toxic but passionate relationship.
The writer should come back and save her. Where's the writer?
Oh, dude, he dipped the fuck out because he was smart. So Joe DiMaggio and Marilyn had a very intense and toxic relationship that Joe DiMaggio never got over. Marilyn...
He liked it. He liked the toxic world. He was into it.
Yeah.
He needed it.
Yeah, I honestly feel kind of bad for Joe DiMaggio because he was in love with Marilyn until his dying days, despite the fact that he was an abusive piece of shit. Like
She was equally as abusive to him, probably. Well, not physically, but mentally.
Not physically, but mentally. Like that's where the trade off is in abuse in relationships. Is the physical abuse in relationships is largely ignored when it comes from women because what the fuck are they going to do with those little noodle arms? Can't do that much damage. But the mental damage that they can do is pretty solid. The physical damage that men can do is
women.
Well, they could throw like
much
a pot
more
of hot
immediate.
grits on your back while you're taking a shower. Like,
Mick said it in the first Rocky, dude.
that sounds very specific. Is there a story behind that?
yeah, that happened to Marvin Gaye.
Oh, did it? Oh, I thought you were going to say that was something that you went through. No, I requested it.
No, I've had things
Went through.
things
You mean
thrown at me.
enjoyed.
Yeah.
Went through, you mean asked for? Yes.
Yes. I was more of a malto meal guy.
Nick from Rocky
I
said
prefer
women
I prefer
making
boiling
legs.
cream of wheat on my back, personally. On August 1st, 1962, DiMaggio decided he was ready to give the relationship another shot and left his job so he could be with Monroe. According to a former coworker, DiMaggio told him he was going to ask Monroe to marry him again, but he would never get the chance. On August 5th, a housekeeper staying at Marilyn's home in Los Angeles woke at 3 a.m. to discover that the actress's bedroom light was on, but her door was locked and she wasn't responding to when the maid knocked. Worried that something may be wrong, which, by the way, she'd just mind her own fucking business because she could have been in there, like, flicking the bean or something. Just give her some time. Wait till morning. If she's dead, she's still going to be dead when you wake up in the morning. Worried that something may be wrong, the cleaning lady called Monroe's psychiatrist, Ralph Greenson, who arrived and broke into her bedroom through a window. There, he found Monroe laying in bed, surrounded by empty medicine bottles. Marilyn Monroe died at the age of 36. Toxicology reports showed that she had amounts of chloral hydrate and phenobarbital in her system several times over the lethal limit. After an investigation by the LA County Coroner's Office, her death was ruled a suicide. A heartbroken Joe DiMaggio took possession of her remains and arranged a funeral at the Westwood Village Memorial Park Cemetery on August 8th. Despite their turbulent and obviously toxic relationship, Joe DiMaggio may have been the only man to truly love Marilyn. For 20 years after her death, Joe had 6 red roses delivered to her crypt 3 times per week. For 20 years, 6 red roses delivered to her crypt 3 times a week.
That's fucking dumb. Wait,
He's a fucking simp.
Had him delivered or delivered it himself?
I'm sure he had him
Paid
delivered.
for someone else to do it? That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, Rocky used to go to Adrian's grave.
Yeah.
He would
went
remember
himself.
He'd hide a folding chair in the tree.
Yeah, fuck yeah, he
and,
did.
And then he would pull it out of the tree to sit down.
And then smash it over the gravestone.
Hey, yo.
No, he would sit in it because he was getting old and he still loved her.
Joe refused to discuss Marilyn or his relationship with her publicly, and he spent the rest of his life alone, unable to find anyone who compared to his lost love. When DiMaggio died in March of 1991, his last words were, quote,
Terminator 2 just came out. I'm so excited.
fucking Terminator 2! His last words were, quote, I'll finally get to see Marilyn.
Aww.
And punch that bitch in the fucking cunt.
Punch her like I used to. What a
I'll
cunt.
finally get to beat Marilyn again.
Well, I mean, even serial killers fall in love. But so I'm glad someone loved
Everybody,
it, but still,
everybody
fuck it.
has their own love language. Some people have a love language that involves fists. Some people have a love language that involves mental abuse. Some people have a love language that involves drugging them and strangling them and keeping their skull to use as a masturbatory aid.
Oh.
I'm listening.
Yeah, please continue.
Okay, I'm on board. Anyway, that's the end of the Marilyn Monroe episode. There was a whole lot more to go into that, but that's way too long of a story. I didn't want to make it a multi-part episode. So, gentlemen, what do you think of Marilyn Monroe?
I mean, I think
Fuck, marry, kill.
Fuck, marry, kill. Okay, who are we talking? Which one?
Marilyn Monroe, Joe DiMaggio, and the corpse of JFK. This is easy. This is very easy.
Let's see. Well, you married Joe DiMaggio for the stability.
Bingo.
No, he's abusive. He's physically abusive. Be
You
careful
know,
with that. That's
it's-
long term.
He's got money.
It's fine.
He's got money and he's loyal.
So does Marilyn, but she's not loyal.
She's not loyal.
She didn't play
But
on
if
the
you
Yankees.
don't care about that, then
She
you're
belongs
fine.
to the streets, bro.
Yeah, but if you don't care about that, then you'll be okay.
Yeah.
If you care about that loyalty shit,
Okay, Adam, fuck
And then
Mary
you
Kill.
fuck JFK's dead body.
That was going to be my answer too.
And you marry Marilyn Monroe so that you can be the grieving widower, because then that makes you a pussy magnet again. Wife dies, everyone wants to fuck a widower.
Joel, fuck Mary Kill.
I don't answer questions.
All right, that settles that. So back to me. Yes, I agreed. Fuck the corpse of JFK.
Sure.
Marry Joe DiMaggio. And you kill Marilyn Monroe and have sex with her corpse.
Yeah.
That's it for this episode of the Iconoblast podcast. I'm still looking at the wide shot, even
No,
though
you're
we
good.
don't have a wide shot. All right, that's it for this episode of the Iconoblast podcast. You can join us again next week, where I have no idea what the topic's going to be. I think it's going to be about Devil's Night?
Devil's Night and The Crow.
Devil's Night and the Crow,
Well,
which
it's
is...
like it's Devil's Night, Brandon Lee, the movie The Crow, and the comic book The Crow, and James O'Barr, who wrote the comic book. And and it's also a little bit about Bruce Lee, also in a
And
weird
Sheryl Crow.
and Sheryl Crow
and the Black
and
Crows.
and the history of crows in general. No, but they all have a weird connection and stuff. And what Devil's Night is actually real, which a lot of people don't know is actually a thing that started in the 1940s in Detroit. And then the author of the comic book, his girl, he was about to marry her, just like in the movie, and just like in the comic book, died. That's why he made the comic book about the crow. In the same way that in the movie and all that shit. What's crazy is there's a weird connection between Bruce Lee, Brandon Lee, the movie, and the guy that made the comic book, and they all have
And Chong
had
Lee.
deaths and experiences that are all in this same weird realm. So I think that the Crow story is cursed because of this weird guy.
From what you were telling me, it is much deeper than I expected it to be.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Basically, they all just had loved ones and people they know, their dad or their wife or their soon-to-be wife, all die in the same weird way at the same time, and they were all connected
In a
weird
tragic
ways through
stunt
movies
on a
and-
feature film.
Yeah.
Well, Adam,
So
what's the
pretty
next
cool.
thing that you got going on Skeleton Factory?
Currently on Patreon, I just decided that everything's gonna be on Patreon for like a week, and then I'm just gonna put it out for free because fuck it. And then right now, I did a review of the film Bodies, which is currently in
That's the one
theaters.
with Pete Davidson?
Yes, the one with Kim Kardashian's ex-boyfriend. And
As he will forever be known.
he will forever be known, and nothing else. And the next episode 43, will be on V, the original miniseries from 1983.
I remember watching that when I was a kid.
It's a total 200 minutes long, so it's going to take a while to chip through it with any kind of thoroughness. You can follow me at skeleton_factory on Instagram and at patreon.com/skeleton factory.
All right, well, you can follow us at Iconoblast Podcast on Instagram. You can follow me at Coop Newcomb. You can follow Joel at Joel R. Benner. And don't forget to subscribe to the Iconoblast YouTube channel. It is no longer the Drinkin' Bros History YouTube channel. It's the Iconoblast YouTube channel.
You can find us, just search Iconoblast. We come right up at the top nowadays.
All right, that's it for this week. We will see you all next week. My name is Matt Cooper.
I'm Joel Benner.
And we're reminding you to never take anything at
That's
face
Adam.
value.
That's Adam
Oh, and
Hester over there.
that's
I'm
Adam
Fat
Hester.
Cooper.
And now say it again, because now we're on your angle. What do we remind people?
We're reminding you to never take anything at face value.
Now play the theme song to Iconoblast.
Oh, wait. Here's the theme song to Iconoblast.
That's not it. I'm cutting.
Look at that smile! Woo!
That's $1,000 smile right there, Adam. Jesus Christ. I'm not cutting. Look at that. That's beautiful. You're so happy.
I like watching people play guitar.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
He's still fucking smiling. I didn't cut yet. Look how happy he is. He loves guitar. Don't be embarrassed.
This brings me back to my early 20s. Watching Coop play guitar.
Well,
It's a
I don't know if you
nostalgic
could call
for
it playing guitar. You can call it something.
Play it better. I dare you. Play it better.
me. Faster and more intense.
Anybody could.
All right, cut it. We're done.
$10 if I don't cut it. He's gonna keep playing guitar, and Adam's gonna keep smiling.
I don't know, I was liking his reaction to more than words.
There he goes.